A 3-week ceasefire in Gaza is in peril after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued an ultimatum to Hamas: release the hostages or face a resumption of, quote, intense fighting. Both sides accusing the other of violating the truce. Hamas on Monday saying it would put off Saturday's hostage release until Israel complied with the terms of the agreement. The group renewing its commitment to the ceasefire following the warning from Mr. Netanyahu. Meanwhile, Jordan's king says Arab states are preparing their own proposal for the future of Gaza. During talks with the US president at the White House, King Abdullah pushed back on Donald Trump's plans to take over the enclave. He repeated the position taken by Arab states on rebuilding Gaza without needing to displace Palestinians who are living there. And for more, Giles Gibson joins us live from Tel Aviv. Giles, with Israel Defense Force stepping up its readiness for more intense fighting and Hamas suspending, at least at this point, any more hostage releases due on Saturday, how are negotiators seeking to resolve what seems to be another impasse?
Well, look, one of the key mediators in all of this is the US. And we saw in that meeting that you mentioned between US President Donald Trump and Jordan's King Abdullah, the US president saying that he doesn't think that Hamas are going to make the deadline personally in terms of handing over Israeli hostages on Saturday, accusing Hamas of, in his words, playing tough guy. There are, though, reports that Egypt and Qatar, two of the countries that helped to get this ceasefire deal together in the first place, that they are leading efforts to mediate between Hamas and Israel in terms of getting this ceasefire deal back on track. I think there also, if you look at the language that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, used in his message that he put out late on Tuesday, local time here in Israel, there is some room for maneuver in that language. He said that Hamas must return our hostages by Saturday noon. A lot of focus on that word "our." Is that Benjamin Netanyahu backing up what US President Donald Trump has said, that Hamas should return all of the remaining hostages held in Gaza, or would Hamas releasing perhaps 3 hostages as was initially planned, would that be enough for the ceasefire deal to stay alive at least for the next few weeks or so? In response to those comments and that ultimatum from the Israeli Prime Minister, Hamas has said that they remain committed to the ceasefire agreement. I remember that initially they announced, when they said they were going to be delaying the release of Israeli hostages that was supposed to happen on Saturday, they said that they were doing that because they accuse Israel of delaying the return of Palestinians to the north of Gaza, as well as delaying the influx of humanitarian aid. So that is the area where we think there could be some sort of a deal made. Would Israel making some sorts of assurances about humanitarian aid, would that be enough for Hamas to come back to the table, to release prisoners, and then for this really crisis point in this first phase of the ceasefire agreement to be avoided, at least for now?
Giles Gibson there reporting on possible hitches to phase 1 of this truce in Gaza. Reporting live there from Tel Aviv.